Well, hi there and welcome to What's Your Story Wellbeing. My name is Ben. I'm part of the team here at Vineyard 53. So thank you so much for tuning in. It's awesome that you're able to join us. In a moment, we're going to be hearing from 3 people sharing about their own wellbeing journey, what they've struggled with and what has helped them too. For some, they focus on life through this pandemic, and for others, life before then too. Now, you might not agree with everything they say, or some things actually might really resonate with you. But we hope that you find their stories insightful and thought-provoking. And as we go, why not leave a comment below about the things you found helpful for your own well-being, whether that's something that's helped during this pandemic or even before then too. You never know, it could be helpful for others too. I'll then be back to wrap things up at the end.
Hi, I'm Si, and I've been at Vineyard now for 7 years, since it started really, along with my wife Sophie. We've got a little girl called Harper who's just over 3. We've been on the youth team now for really for about 6 years, since we started kind of meetings on Sunday mornings, and along with being on other teams as well, like worship, playing drums, which I love hitting things with sticks.
Hi, I'm Andrea. I've been married to Ryan for 17 years. We have 2 kids together, Sammy and Jonah. I'm from Northern Ireland, although I've lived in England for longer than I was there. But it'll always be home. I feel very fortunate to have 2 homes, although that can get confusing for the kids. I love baking, being by nature, being by the sea, time with others and time by myself.
I'm Boyd. I'm studying criminology and counselling skills at Chester Uni. I'm a part of the Chester Christian Union, the society with the students, part of the Chester Burn team who do monthly worship events, and also part of Vineyard 53.
My well-being, how I kind of checked my well-being was all right. My mental health and stuff was going all right before lockdown. I'm a massive extrovert, seeing people, being around the boys from church, some guys that I used to play rugby with or went to uni with, hanging out with them. That's just how, for me, how I keep my mental health on point. Just being able to have them chats over a beer, or over some food, just catching up, with some really good friends. But I think the biggest thing that I myself, and I know Sophie's the same, we've struggled with, is just not seeing them, just not seeing our friends, and especially not seeing our family. But it's tough, and that does affect your mental health. The people you used to speak to all the time, or you used to see all the time, you're not seeing so much. We've missed really entertaining people as well, because that's something we know we're quite good at, and we love to do. So that's been really hard for my mental health. I think physically, it's been tough. I think I really love my sport. It was rugby to start with. Now it's more squash and a bit of basketball. And I think that's been one area where it's been hard. I'm really competitive, and I love that competitive edge to sport. Me and Soph did that running challenge in December, which was really good. That was really fun. Just to, it really helped me mentally and physically. To get a bit fitter, to lose a bit of lockdown weight, which I'm sure needed to go. But also it's just nice to get out running again, and it's something I'm going to try and keep up doing, just getting outside and going for a run.
My journey with wellbeing, I was a very anxious person from my teenage years. I worried quite excessively and always kind of really struggled to believe in myself, and had a constant sense of self-doubt and not being good enough, and often being preoccupied by what other people thought of me. A lot of my life was motivated and driven by fear of being found out, fear of getting things wrong, fear of not being needed or wanted or not being liked by people. And often that's meant that I've neglected myself, and perhaps taken longer to step out and take measured risks. On my journey, God has paved my path to enable me to learn to be more accepting of myself, to know that I'm accepted by Him, and to hold on to the hope that He provides for me. My daily reminder is that God is my protector and my provider. My fear levels are so much less, and I know so much more of God's peace now. Most of the time this has involved me being prompted by God to step out into my fear, to trust him and to just go with it.
I was asked to talk about my wellbeing journey, and for me the biggest aspect is my mental wellbeing. So I first noticed my mind was a dark place in about year 10 or 11, which was 5 or 6 years ago now. And then when I started A-levels, things got much worse, and I realised I was suffering with anxiety and depression. I had panic attacks when I was with more than just a few people, so when I had classes of 20 to 30, it was not easy. When I got home, I'd spend hours laying on the kitchen floor crying and then hiding when my mum got home so she didn't know. I was barely able to function. And one last example, days could pass without me noticing, and then I could remember the days happening, but it felt like I was watching someone else, like I was watching myself through a TV. So I spoke to a teacher and volunteered with her for a bit, and she put me to the top of the school's counselling wait list. That teacher would chat with me, and it was so helpful to just let it all out. A couple of my closest friendships broke down before coming to uni, which just added to it all that I was going through. I came to uni and got involved with the Christian Union. I looked around churches but fell in love with Vineyard. But as I was looking around, I had broken down and crying in worship a few times, which I now know was the beginning of the healing. One November night, I'd gone home from CU evening prayer, and I was in bed crying and pouring out my heart to God. That night, God performed the first miraculous healing on my mind. After that night, speaking to God has been like a two-way conversation with a friend. From November to March, I was thinking clearly for the first time in years. I still struggled a bit, but much less. But then in March, the year before COVID, it got worse than it had ever been before, and I'd stopped going to uni because I had to choose between lectures and my mental health. In May, I finally worked up the courage to call a doctor, desperately trying to tell him it wasn't just exam stress. He prescribed antidepressants. So they started working, but about 2 months later I'd run out and I didn't have the courage to call the doctor again. Then in August that year, it was a Vineyard evening service. And at the end of the service, something was said, and I went up for prayer. Someone prayed for me, and since then I've had an immense peace and joy. That evening was the second time God healed me, and it's been over a year since then, and I'm still good now.
Something that's always stuck with me, kind of, I can't remember who it was that said it to me, but someone was saying that during this time, they're trying to be still. Oh, just be still in God's presence. And it's like, what do you mean? Yeah, do you mean be like this? Yeah, and just be like a statue for however long. And it's just hit me like, it's just about like everything that we're going through in a minute. People have got stresses at home, they've got stresses at work, yeah, they've got stresses with COVID and anxiety. Yeah, it's affecting people's mental health. But it's about how do we be still, yeah, how do we just let all that go, yeah, and just give that all to Jesus and just literally sit on the couch, yeah, for half an hour. Don't even think about anything. Yeah, just be still in God. If you fall asleep, you fall asleep. Falling asleep in God's presence, yeah, it's nothing to feel guilty about. Yeah, you're just enjoying God's presence. Going outside, going for a walk, yeah, just go and be still outside. Yeah, look at God's creation, yeah, listen to the birds. That is experiencing Jesus. Yeah, the amazing world that God's made. And that's what's kind of made me just feel so grateful, yeah, that we can do that. But I think I'd say that to anyone, yeah, just try. I know it's not easy with family life and the stresses that people have at the minute, but just shave that bit of time to be still with God.
What has helped me in my wellbeing journey is knowing myself and understanding myself more, thinking more about why I'm doing things or not doing things, and what is motivating me. This enables me to not live out of fear. Making time to understand yourself, and what are your triggers to fear, what are the things that you do that are unhelpful, and also just considering how you would live without fear and do that instead. If we know ourselves, we can care for ourselves better and live more in line with the truth of who we are in Jesus. If we spend less time living in fear, we can hear and see him more clearly.
So I'm just going to list some things that have helped me throughout all of this. The first one's really simple, just wearing headphones when I went shopping. I found the busyness and the noise of shopping too stressful at times. But one day I was just like, I can just put my headphones in, listen to music, and not worry about what everyone else is doing. The second one is writing down my feelings when I wasn't doing too great. Because whenever I was feeling that bit better, I would always forget exactly how I was feeling before. So writing down my feelings not only helped me remember exactly how I was feeling, but also reminded me that those feelings were real. I was struggling. So then the third one leads on from that. It's talking to a friend. Find a friend that you really know you get on well with. And then just talk to them. It helps you not bottle it up and means that even if they can't offer solutions, they're still there to listen.
Yeah, what top tips could I give to people that are struggling? I think one, stay connected. Stay connected with family. Stay connected with your friends. Yeah, pick up the phone. If you know there's people that are struggling, it doesn't take much just to ask people how they're doing. And that has a massive effect on people. And that's what I miss about seeing people, because that's when that conversation happens more. But yeah, I think stay connected with people as much as you can still. And I remember one thing that stuck with me throughout this whole year is something that Anna said in a talk a while ago, probably at the start of the pandemic, which was when your children ask you, mummy and daddy or whoever, what were you doing during COVID, during coronavirus? I don't want to say to Harper, I completed Netflix and got sick at FIFA. I think I've managed to do some kind of background reading into my subject, into RE, into some religions that maybe I needed more information on. I've managed to do kind of cook some lovely meals, and I'm just getting out, just going out for a walk and just being so grateful, for what we've got, which is massive. Being grateful for everything that we've got around us, which has been amazing.
Another one was easing the strict rules I had on myself. Lots of people feel that they have to be productive every single day. And I used to feel like that too. But then some days I was just like, I don't want to do anything today. So I started calling those days rest days, or even productive rest days. So I didn't feel like I was not being productive, not being useful, or wasting the day. Saying no to people and setting boundaries. Sometimes if a friend asks me to chat, but I'm not feeling too great at the time, I now say, I'd love to, but I'm not feeling great today. I'd love to, but I'm not feeling great. And it was hard to do it at first, but I found that my friends were actually okay with it. They didn't hate me or anything like I thought they would. And they understood that some days people just can't talk.
I think it's just trying to realise that even though it's hard at the minute with everything going on, we're struggling because we're missing family, like I said before, or it's just hard in general. That Jesus hasn't left us, even though we're not together as a family, as one in Bridge House. Jesus is still with me. Even though I'm in this house, even though I go out for a walk with Buzz, Jesus is still with us. He's not left us. He's not deserted us. He knows exactly what's going on. And he's just trying to make sure that we're getting through this all right, in one piece. I think it's been hard. I think this year's been really hard with Jesus. Just in the fact that because we're not with people, because we're not in our normal routine, you have to try and think, right, look, it's down to me. This relationship with Jesus has always been down to me. It's kind of church that helps facilitate that relationship. It's not church, it's not Vineyard that makes my relationship with Jesus. That is all on me. That's on me as a person. But I think worship music for me is the best way that I engage with Jesus, whether it's in the house, whether it's at church, with other people. For me, it's just amazing. It helps me to engage really well. There's nothing better for me than to worship Jesus behind a drum kit, or on the cajon. But don't feel guilty. If your relationship with Jesus this year has been hard, it's just about where do you go from there. Where do you want your relationship with Jesus to be at the end of this pandemic?
Over the years in my walk with Jesus, he has slowly been working in me, teaching me how to love myself as I love those around me. He's been teaching me more of his compassion towards me, to know that he accepts me, embraces me as I am, with my mistakes and my human flaws. This enables me to love myself. I love that we journey with Jesus. He is our saviour and grace giver, but in that he wants to walk with us on our individual journeys. Knowing the compassion of Jesus has brought gentleness, kindness, warmth, and acceptance into my daily life, allowing me to be more of the person that God has made me to be.
First of all, there's those 2 healings on my mind, which were amazing and beyond anything I can explain or describe, other than saying they were immense joy and peace since. But before then, it was always good to have someone to talk to 24/7. If I was up at 4 a.m. or not feeling great at 1 p.m, it was always good to be able to just pray and pour out my heart to God about what's been going on and chat about all of that with Him. And then there's weekly services with Vineyard, connecting through God, through the community, through the talks, and especially through the worship. They were like smaller but frequent refreshers in my mind. And then finally, the extended times of worship with Bern, singing out God's praises or just lying there listening to what was going on. That was always a deep refresh for me and helped me think about everything that's been going on through the month and let go of some things. From all of this, it's clear to me that God's helped me through worship. He's brought healing through that, and worship has been a key aspect in getting me through everything.
Well, hello again. Thank you so much to those that have shared. And to finish, we wanted to acknowledge that there may be some things mentioned that will have resonated with some of us. Perhaps you can relate to the struggles of not seeing people with anxiety, depression, or that feeling of fear, a fear of failure maybe, or not being needed or wanted. Now, we're not claiming to be the experts or know all the answers, but what we can offer is community as we journey through some of this stuff together. So to finish, I'd love to mention a few things that may be of help to you, and the links will be in the description below. The first is our small groups. These are currently meeting digitally online, and they range from a marriage course, a film discussion group, a mum and babies group, and lots more. They're a great way to be known, supported, and get to know others. We've also partnered with a charity called Kintsugi Hope to offer small groups that help us process our mental and emotional health in community, a safe and supportive environment for everyone to grow and flourish in their well-being. We'll be running more of these groups over the coming months. And lastly, we have recently launched a wellbeing website called Thrive. This is a collection of resources to help our mental, emotional, physical, relational, and spiritual well-being. There are blogs, upcoming events, and more. And it'll keep hopefully evolving over time as we add more content. So something to check out, and we hope it will be of benefit to you. Links for all of those are below. So that is all from us. Thank you so much for tuning in. Bye for now.